Good morning, comrades. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. I'm not sure what accent I was trying to do there, a kind of communistic one, I guess, from communist Russia. And of course, that is in relation, perhaps, to Keir Starmer's speech this morning, where he talks about essentially implementing socialism within the United Kingdom. And one thing that is certainly interesting for me, we're going to try and stay as apolitical on the whole thing as possible, was his comments in regards to the budget that's coming in October, which is likely going to mean tax hikes for your everyday individual. Keir Starmer has given his definition of working class previously, and he essentially talks about people that don't have any savings. That's his definition of people that are working month to month. And that's where they want everybody in this system. They don't want people to have more than somebody else, which is a very nice idea, but is it a practical one? And I guess that's the real argument that the socialists try to put forward. It's my belief that fairness isn't taking from one person to give to another, and that comes not just from... Anyway, we won't go too far into detail. I'm a big fan of Milton Friedman, Friedrich von Hayek, people like this, Ludwig von Mises, a lot of your Austrian economics, why Bitcoin makes a lot of sense. We'll be talking about this to start the video off. We're also going to be talking about the freedom of speech attack that is currently taking place. Mark Zuckerberg coming out in regards to exposing some White House pressure regarding censorship around the events of March 2020. We know what took place then. Also, we know that Telegram's founder, who has previously came out, I think it was on Tucker Carlson, and actually said that he was very much strong-armed by the FBI in regards to Telegram as a platform. We know he's been arrested in France. Macron also commenting on this. We'll look at some comments there. Then we'll be talking about crypto stuff. So this is very relevant. Certainly the Starmer speech as investors, because we have to deal with capital gains and things like this. But also to us generally as human beings, in regards to things like free speech and things like this. And we're seeing, you can't say what you want online anymore. And there are definitely cases of it's a very fine line, isn't it? There's definitely cases of people saying things that you think, should you be able to say that? But where do you stop and start with free speech? It's you're either for it or you're not. It's very interesting what's going on right now, and it's relevant to us, but then we'll be diving into all the crypto stuff, of course, looking at the Kraken dismissal of the SEC's case and what that now means. Talking about some TA, somebody pointing out a head and shoulders here, 3-year technical pattern that essentially is going to lead to higher prices for Bitcoin. I believe the prediction they have is in the 260k range. We've got 151k we've still got to get to. 130k from a bull flag, but actually there is merit for a broader pattern, a number of patterns actually playing out that could see you go well above and beyond 151k, and we do think this is going to be a spectacular bull market, and we'll be sort of reaffirming a lot of our technical sort of confluence in regards to this space as a whole. But without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and I want to play this kind of important clip in regards to what Keir Starmer spoke about this morning. And what he's telling people in the UK is to come. It's likely going to be tax hikes, capital gains hikes, corporation, higher brackets. If you understand the history of taxation, it was first of all implemented as a temporary thing to help with war efforts. And if you look at the tax bracket that a lot of us find ourselves in, which is the 45% tax bracket, that was brought in to tax the super rich. And now there's a lot of people that fall into that with inflation, making everything more expensive and your wages inflating, but not going as further. You get put into that and you're still reducing. It's a real shambles in regards to what goes on, which is why politically I'm very against a lot of the things that Starmer preaches in regards to publicising or making everything in the public good. I think government is one of the only people that you can pretty much guarantee gets given something and makes a mess of it, and it's because there's no incentivization there. Whereas if you have a businessman whose incentive to make this business work and be efficient and provide value is, if he doesn't do that, his family may go hungry as a result of it, which isn't a good analogy. I think they've got a lot more incentive than somebody who is still going to have that job whether it works or not, and actually has that job because of the problems that are created. But anyway, without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. We're going to play the first clip of Keir Starmer because this is going to affect all of us as investors and business owners and potentially people in, I think, even lower tax brackets. But then we'll continue on with the video.
To give people security, dignity and respect at work. And Great British Energy will be owned by the taxpayer, making money for the taxpayer. producing clean energy and creating good jobs. That is our focus for the rest of the year. But I will be honest with you, there is a budget coming in October, and it's going to be painful. We have no other choice, given the situation that we're in. Those with the broadest shoulders should bear the heavier burden, and that's why we're cracking down on non-DOMs. Those who made the mess should have to do their bit to clean it up, and that's why we're strengthening the powers of the water regulator and backing tough fines on the water companies that have let sewage flood our rivers, lakes and seas. But just as when I responded to the riots, I'll have to turn to the country and make big asks of you as well, to accept short-term pain for long-term good, the difficult trade-off for the genuine solution. And I know that after all that you have been through, that is a really big ask and really difficult to hear. That is not the position we should be in. It's not the position I want to be in. But we have to end the politics of the easy answer that solves nothing. But I also know that we can get through this together.
I could honestly cry listening to that. And maybe that brings some people some joy. You know, some of the haters in the comment section. That's something that genuinely upsets me in regards to what he's just said, because I know what that means for us in the UK. That means tax hikes. That means increased government enforcement. And they're going to take over industries. They're going to drive business out. I mean, he spoke about non-DOMs. I know a lot of non-DOMs. Guess what? They've all just moved. You really think when they get faced with the proposition of paying money to live in the UK, which a lot of them are asking themselves, well, why are we even here anyway, that they're going to do that, give up 50, 40% of their wealth to do that? Or do you think they're just going to move to somewhere like Italy or other places that are far more? And that's what they've done, by the way, guys. The second that was announced, you've watched. And if you want a good case of actually how you bring money into a country, I think lower taxes would increase the economy and we grow out of it rather than basically penalising the citizens. I genuinely, as a true Brit, I have English, Scottish, Irish and Welsh blood flowing through my veins. As somebody who is truly British, I'm lost for words at this point. And I just don't know how more people aren't truly upset about all this. But we've gone on very long about this one topic. It's something I'm passionate about as somebody that lives in the UK. There's a war on freedom at the moment. Mark Zuckerberg coming out just the other day to say the White House pressured Meta to censor the events of March 2020 content. Also, we know that the Telegram CEO reported on this previously. I even posted on my Twitter a picture of or a clip of Tucker Carlson's interview with him where he spoke about actually the FBI kind of strong-armed him on a number of occasions. But Russia warns France over Telegram founder's detainment, suggested it may be politically motivated. I have seen false information regarding France following the arrest of Pavel Durov. France is deeply committed to freedom of expression. I'm triggered, right? I feel like I'm on the opposite side here because of how triggered I am right now. And communication to innovation and to the spirit of entrepreneurship, it will remain so. Obviously, Elon. I really like Elon, even though I kind of think that Twitter is like a great way for them to essentially put people into almost this social credit score system where they can say, oh, we know that we've got evidence that he said this or that. That's kind of why they're allowing, I think, it really, and I think he might be a play in that. But I do like a lot of what he's been saying, certainly in regards to things in the UK. Let's go into crypto, guys. We've very much focused on events in the world. I'm sorry I have to do that, but some things need to be said. And you do have to pick a side, very much so, in terms of, you know, your own beliefs and what you believe in and stand on as a human being. Nirvana isn't for this world, but I think there's better ways of doing things than what's currently in place. But let's talk about crypto. So, just today, the US federal court rejects Kraken's bid to dismiss a SEC lawsuit accusing it of running an unregistered securities exchange per an an AUG 23 filing. In November, the SEC charged Kraken with operating a crypto trading platform as an unregistered securities exchange, broker-dealer, and clearing agency. The US District Court in Northern California stated the SEC has plausibly alleged that some cryptocurrencies transactions Kraken facilitated are investment contracts, making them subject to securities laws. So this is now going to go to trial. We've seen trials rain on for the SEC versus the crypto industry, and they've lost the vast majority. We've been looking zealously at all the evidence that we have technically, not just in regards to Bitcoin, but obviously in regards to Bitcoin for it to go higher in terms of prices. We've been talking about the macro, we've been talking about altcoins, we've been talking about stock markets, hell of a lot of things. And yesterday we spoke about Francis Hunt, the market sniper, the crypto sniper, highlighting this monthly candle and it being a very bullish sign. Obviously, Peter Brandt chiming in on this. This is a little bit of work from Gert Van Lagen, and he's pointing out a cup and handle. So even though I'm not a fan of this trajectory, which is showing a parabolic curve, I am a fan of traditional technical analyst and, of course, a cup and handles pattern. For example, we've got a big one on gold that is very much playing out. Gold, technical beauty for us. Not only is this a cup and handle, but your cup and handle was in an inverse head and shoulders kind of target. And since we called this down here, look at how this has marched. Hopefully we're turning you into technical analysts. But I do very much think this is going to play out. And also, not only is there a cup and handle here, I also think, using this as your kind of neckline for your cup and handle, I also think there's potentially the possibility, certainly in regards to Bitcoin crosses, of this being a bit of a giant inverse head and shoulders with a nice weak right shoulder. Obviously, we've got smaller head and shoulders. This is how markets go up and down. They go up and down in a nestling kind of head and shoulders fashion. But you can see, we are very much on an upward trajectory. There's lots of TA that supports that. Bit of a ranty one today, guys. We've done a lot of very technical updates in regards to why we're bullish on the market, put forward a lot of reasons and said, listen, if you can convince us and provide a counter argument with as much evidence as we put forward, then we'll flip bearish. The evidence isn't there as far as I'm concerned. People need to wake up in regards to what's currently taking place and at least acknowledge the corrupt nature of things at the moment and the nonsensical nature in many regards. Obviously, Keir's speech there does worry me as a UK citizen. I want what's best for people in the UK, genuinely. I care. And I'm not convinced that taxing them is going to solve anything. In fact, there is no correlation between upping taxes and things getting better, quite frankly. And I think we're going to see continuation of that. I don't think they're going to do anything to sort of weaken or dwindle away the budget. I think it's going to continue to grow and become more and more of a thing and more indebted and more public and more issues and so on and so forth until there's real change. And I'm sure you can kind of guess who I probably voted for in this election. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. I hope you enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed presenting it. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next.